Hi, how you doing? I'm Terry Taylor, and welcome to episode 4 of the Terry Taylor Show, coming to you from the couch today. I apologize in advance that I don't have my Suicide Squad trailer up review just yet. Today's been a crazy time crunch, and I really didn't have time to get it together. Anyway, I'm just gonna do a quick one today, drop a couple of bits of news, and then tomorrow I'll have a longer episode. Anyway, we're also dealing with some technical difficulties, which, whatever. Anyway, so this Thursday, there's going to be a Rogue One trailer played during the Olympics on NBC. Dealing, I guess, with some of the backlash from Star Wars Celebration, how there was only like a 1 minute thing shown and they didn't show it to the rest of the world. It was just for people that were there, and then they just dropped a featurette after it. There was knowledge on Lucasfilm's side of things that everybody was expecting a trailer. And everybody was really disappointed that they didn't get one. There was a ton of backlash online over it. Anyway, this Thursday we're getting it. But we don't know if it's going to be a teaser. We don't know if it's going to be a trailer. We don't know if it's what they showed at Star Wars Celebration. I guess we'll have to see. I think it's a smart move for Disney and Lucasfilm to drop this trailer now, because we're only 4 months away from this film, and all we have is that 1 minute teaser and a sizzle reel. So we have to get people interested in this film. We got to let people know that Darth Vader is in this movie, that this is not part of the saga story. This is a side story. This is a Star Wars story that takes place sort of on the outskirts of the actual saga itself. So we need to let people know who are maybe not so much of a Star Wars sweaty like me and some of you are, that this is a movie that is different from the sagas. This is not episode 8. This is its own thing. So we need to do that. We need to start doing that now. But I do understand that they waited for the all the hype around Comic-Con to sort of fizzle out. They let that pass, and all the hype around Suicide Squad. So I guess it's a smart move on their part. I do think they really need to. I'm surprised that it took this long for something to come out. But it's cool. It makes sense that they're putting it out Thursday because Friday is the premiere of Pete's Dragon, which I'm sure they're going to show the trailer before that because that's a Disney property, obviously. So that's the news on Rogue One. We're getting a trailer Thursday, so I'm really interested to see how the reaction is for this particular trailer. Also, it was announced that Man of Steel 2 is in the works. And it's a priority at DC and Warner Brothers to get Man of Steel 2 out. And we're looking at probably end of 2017, early 2018 release for the Man of Steel 2, which is a smart move. They really need to develop Superman's character because all we have of him now is just sort of like this whiny emo kid, and then we killed him. So we have to bring him back, obviously. Probably for Justice League 2, he will be back. But we obviously, now that we know we're coming out with a Man of Steel 2, I hope they do 2 and 3. I'd love to see that. I don't know that wholesome's the right word of Superman, but I want to see that, like, that Superman that, saves cats from trees, that's not so brooding and we need to get past that shit. We're tired of hearing Superman feel sorry for himself. Let's make this guy the hero that he deserves to be. And it's crazy because DC did this crazy backwards thing where they tried to catch up with Marvel and the Marvel money that they were getting, and we had Man of Steel, and they just wanted to get the universe going, get that universe out there, and so they had Batman vs Superman and crammed all the Justice League characters into it, and just threw the death of Superman in there, and it's just this insanity thing. And this is supposed to set up our entire entrance to the DC Cinematic Extended Universe. And they rushed it. And the same thing goes for Suicide Squad. They crammed a lot of characters in. They're trying to get everybody in. They're trying to get their Avengers before they've set them all up. Marvel took their time. They made us fall in love with Iron Man. They made us fall in love with Captain America. They gave us these things so that we could relate to these characters, so that we cared about them by the time we got our Avengers, which became the third biggest selling movie of all time. at that particular time. Batman vs Superman has taken that over, but still, it's not. I'm sorry, Batman vs Superman is not. It has not taken that over, but it's just such a. I believe Suicide Squad did. It's just so ridiculous that we are in this situation right now where like DC is constantly second guessing their directors, and they're making all these crazy judgments and all these second edits and bringing all these people in to fix everything up, and they're scrambling, and it's making for a really rough beginning and entrance and introduction into this universe of such rich characters, and it's sort of disrespectful to the characters in their own because there's such rich history there. I mean, Superman is the first superhero, arguably the most important superhero. Batman, these guys have been around since like the 30s. Like we gotta show some respect for these guys, and like it's. I think Wonder Woman is gonna show the respect that deserves. Especially it being her 75th anniversary and the reboot of her story in the comic world. I think, as far as DC's rebirth, that's going to knock it out of the park. And that's probably going to be the saving grace of the DC Extended Universe. And from there, we're gonna really get more character development, and hopefully they're gonna do some cool stuff with the Flash, maybe some elements of the comic Flashpoint, and cross some dimensional things and some timelines and stuff like that. Maybe we'll connect to the television universe and the television Flash, which is already established and really, really well liked. I mean, the show does very well, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest it if you're a fan of comic book stuff. They nail the Flash, so and this is a different take in the cinematic universe. It's a completely different Flash, but through the Flash, we could cross these two universes. And that would be a cool thing, if they did that well, that could be really cool, because there was a lot of backlash about casting Ezra Miller as the Flash in the cinematic universe when we all already have I can't remember his name offhand, playing him on TV. So this is a great way to cross all that over, considering they brought in the Flash, the actor who played the Flash in the early '90s television show, into the television series. They've already crossed that timeline, which is a really cool thing that they did that. So they can continue that into the cinematic universe with the Flash and really do some things that Marvel's not doing with their cinematic universe so much. I mean, granted, the Netflix shows, they are connected to the universe sort of loosely. All the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this, they refer to that New York incident, which was the Avengers, the first film. So it's all kind of referred to and hinted at, and it takes place in that universe, but DC separated the timelines. But if they're being smart about it, which I think they are, I think they're doing Earth 1 and Earth 2, and that's brilliant. That's a brilliant move. If this has been the plan the whole time, which I'm sure if it becomes the plan, they will say that it has been the plan the whole time, which it may not be. But it's also going to be a difficult thing when we're setting up here the DC Cinematic Universe. We have to think about the fact that we've already started this universe with Batman being the Dark Knight Returns comic book Batman influenced by. So he's an older Batman. He's an older, grizzled guy. Are we going to go back in the Batman film, the standalone film? Are we going to go back before the events of Batman vs. Superman and tell a younger story? If so, we've already established that Jared Leto, his Joker, is the Joker of this universe. And he's a lot younger. And maybe not necessarily the actors, but his character is a lot younger from the Batman that we have right now in this particular universe. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys have been nemesis for so long. How is that even possible, considering the age gap that is sort of alluded to within this universe? So I'm just hoping that they don't come out and say that the Joker was actually Robin who turned on Batman, because that's a big rumor online right now, and I hope they don't do that, because it's fucking ridiculous, and it should never happen. And if anybody at DC or Warner Brothers is thinking about this idea, fucking stop it, because nobody wants to see that. Anyway, apparently it's hinted to in Suicide Squad that Harley Quinn killed Robin. So we'll see. That would be it'd be better. It'd be better. Yeah, but it just that just yeah, like young gangster juggalo Jared Leto and like old sort of like rough around the edges Batman is sort of a weird thing here, setting up an extended universe, something that if they plan on following Marvel's lead will be expansive for movies upon movies upon movies for a grand period of time. Marvel is going on their universe. They're already at 8 years developing this universe. So if they plan on doing this at DC, they have to think about things, and that's where the Flash could come into play. So yeah, so that's all I have to say about that stuff. I do want to say that it was announced that Channing Tatum will be playing the Madison the Mermaid. I'm sure the name will change in the Splash remake, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's kind of funny if they take it. They don't take it too seriously. If you've ever seen the original Splash with Daryl Hannah, Tom Hanks, John Candy, Eugene Levy, it's an 80s classic. It's definitely, and it's stood the test of time. It definitely holds up. It's funny. It's a very funny movie with a lot of heart. And it would be, I'd like to see, if they do it a little more tongue-in-cheek in this particular Channing Tatum reworking of it. I'd like to see that because I think he does comedy very well and he's very good at making fun of himself. I don't want it to be, 21 Jump Street, that completely satirical of a version. But which, if you haven't seen the 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street, they're hilarious for what they are. There's great chemistry in the film, and Channing Tatum, like I said, is a fantastic comedic actor. I'm not saying he's the best actor in the world, but to his credit, if you've ever seen the movie A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, he's fantastic in that movie. It's a fantastic, underrated, it's not a lot of people know about the film. It's got Robert Downey Jr., who's fantastic in it. Shia LaBeouf, who, say what you will about the guy, but he kills it in this fucking movie. So go check out A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints if you can find it. I'm sure you can find it. It's out there in the ether. You can go get that. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. They're also going to be doing Flatliners 2. And I'm excited about this because it is not a reboot. It is not a remake. It's an actual sequel. Kiefer Sutherland is already signed on to reprise his role from the original. And I'd like to see Kevin Bacon come back, maybe Oliver Platt. I mean, we could get this cast back. They're not all doing all sorts of crazy things where they couldn't come back to this. I'm interested to see where this story would go as a part 2, as a continuation of what was told in that original 80s horror film. Well, if you haven't seen the original Flatliners, you definitely should. It's about these medical students who are conducting these sort of like secret experimentations where they are crossing into death and coming back and seeing if they can recall things that happened after they've crossed over, what it was like, and all this. And things start happening because you can't really play around with that stuff. Anyway, it's a great film. I really am interested to see what they're going to do with a sequel to this film all these years later. It'd be very interesting. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. I'm sorry it was so short. Like I said, we're having a lot of technical issues and we were under a time crunch today. But I will be back tomorrow and I will be bringing my Suicide Squad review, so stay tuned for that. I want to thank you for coming by today to the couch. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. My name is @TerryTheLoon. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click like and tell your friends about us and pimp us out and all that stuff. And leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Ask some questions if you have anything to say about anything we talked about today or any of my other videos thus far. Also, if you haven't checked out my Stranger Things quasi-spoiler review, make sure you check that out. There's some good stuff there. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.